welcome to Ratchet and Clank All for One. Yes, carrying on with my thing of doing the Ratchet and Clank games, I've decided I'm, going through them anyway, and may as well do Ratchet and Clank All for One, the co-op 4-player Ratchet and Clank, which I used to have a lot of fun with when I had two friends to help me out with it. Not so fun by yourself though, kinda boring. But oh well, I mean, I appreciate the idea of it being a co-op, carrying on with the story of Ratchet and Clank, but being a co-op game to, sort of bring about, encourage more people to play together, I suppose. It's kind of an odd concept. When we get into it, I'll show you how the camera and stuff like that just doesn't make much sense, if you'll see what I'm going for. It seemed like an old isometric sort of style. I don't think it's the best idea for it. Probably easy for coding though, which is probably why they did it. Oh well. Story, I suppose we'll establish the story. Set after a crack in time. Oh, nice friendly monster. Dr. Nefarious turned out to have lived, and Quark became president, and now Nefarious has very crudely and stupidly lured us into a trap. And Quark is falling for it because he is an absolute cretin. But oh well. Oh, there you are, you stupid overacting robot mouth breather. Oh well. We love you none the same. Just gonna skip the cutscene, hope you don't mind. Ooh, giant monster. Oh look, it's a giant monster destroying a city. Very original. If it weren't for everything ever made ever. Ooh, it's throwing shit around. Maybe Evolve ripped this game off. Who knows? Alright. Oh, why do I have Clank on my back? This one doesn't make much sense. Clank's Ratchet's thing. What is Quark doing? Okay. Now, see this camera like this? It doesn't actually change, even with the amount of people in the thing. I think it zooms out slightly, but it stays exactly this level, which is really hard because if you've got someone trying to get hidden bolts, like want to go, say, this way to get hidden bolts, and you got someone who wants to go that way to get something else, then it does make it quite irritating, I think. Because I'd played half this campaign solo, because before my friends picked it up and we replayed it all co-op. So I was trying to run off getting all the hidden monsters and stuff like that, and they didn't get it, so it did lead to some confusing problems. Well, so thank you, tutorial level. Nope, wrong. Let's assume I'm not an absolute cretin and I know what I'm doing. Right, let's get all the money. Ah, this. Yes, you see the lovely AI there? You have to all tank that together, which becomes really amusing, and you end up reenacting Three Stooges impressions. Yes, I'm dead. Oh my god. And the AI that assists you is pretty thick, I must admit. But oh well. Okay, smash, get the bolts. I also like how they color code the bolts, like for who player gets them. Actually, it's nice. It's a nicer system than everyone, fighting to get the one bolt crates. Doesn't really save the experience, but oh well. Off the bat, you've got the same Ratchet and Clank combat system. I mean, square for melee attack, R1 or circle for weapons, except we don't have any. Triangle, stuff like that. I like the fact you can actually play as the different characters, I must admit, because I think a friend of mine who had been wanting to play as Nefarious, and another friend of mine had been wanting to play for Quark for ages, and they were gratefully appreciated that they were able to, which is pretty cool. I personally just prefer the single player experience, because in my honest opinion, I think Ratchet and Clank series is primarily a single player entity, but, I do appreciate the idea behind wanting to play as multiple characters and have different storyline and stuff like that. Okay, he's just going to... Great. Ooh, got a weird creature. Ooh, Luminoid. So they power the city by taking intelligent free will creatures and enforcing them. Also, how did you do that? How did you do that? Oh, is that... How did you do that melee, that ranged attack? You have a boomerang. How do you do that? Also, Q-Force Apprentice. Stupid skill points. Odd. Oh well. How... Ah, R2 and square. Okay. So you have a boom... yeah, everyone has a range attack. R2 and square. Quark has his boomerang. Clank has his... don't know what the hell it is. Ratchet has his wrench. And Nefarious... I have no idea what that is. Ah, I forgot about that. Calling your companion... if you're actually dealing with other players, it's fine, because if you don't have headsets, you just call to them and they show up. But I must admit, it does seem quite an annoying feature when you're dealing with AI, in my honest opinion, because Ratchet and Clank is not... I don't think it's very good at the coding, or Insomniac are not very good in regards to Ratchet and Clank at coding friendly AI. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I mean, basic friendly AI like Tarwin, Kronk, Zephyr, stuff like that is fine, but if you're trying to code friendly AI that also helps you out in gameplay, like jumping on puzzles, hook shots, stuff like that, it seems like that the AI are very thick. Like this Clank I'm with here is monumentally thick. But oh well, I suppose. Thank you, tutorial level. Yes, I never would have known my health was displayed there. Right, smash that. Pretty standard stuff. Exploding boxes, pretty standard. Checkpoint system. Yeah, pretty standard. Nothing too out of the normal for a Ratchet and Clank feel. Still feels like a Ratchet and Clank game. The camera is really getting on my... I forgot both of you have to do that. The camera is getting on my tits slightly. It's a bit irritating, I'll be honest. I mean, it's not what I would trademark with the Ratchet and Clank. Trademark I would trademark with a third-person camera nestled behind the player, necessitating strafing and, you know, strafing and long-range firefights. But this camera, while this camera at the moment for this set piece is suited for that purpose, the camera itself in normal gameplay, as you've seen, is to the side of you. So it's like they only had to render 3 walls, and in the other wall they haven't. If you get what I'm saying, it's like they've cut a whole wall away, and that's where the camera is based. And I don't think that suits the Ratchet and Clank gameplay. It seems off. It's against the... Damn it. I've already got the trophy for... I've already got most of the trophies in the game, actually. There's only the really annoying ones I never got around to finishing. But the camera doesn't seem to sit well with what I would classify to be a Ratchet and Clank style third-person system. It just seems kind of annoying. That was predictable. Dun 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 dun. Rail grinding thing. It's in every Ratchet and Clank game, so I don't hold that against it at all. I must admit, the lean system is an alright idea. I think it was actually in Tools of Destruction, wasn't it? No, it was not. The lean system was not in Tools of Destruction. And it was not in A Crack in Time either. Interesting, they must have just introduced it for this. Interesting. Alright, finally introduced to our first real enemy. Cleaner minion. Very original. Oh, it would be very original if the same robot type with the spinning circular laser wasn't in every Ratchet and Clank ever. Interesting. I mean, really? Are we running that low on sprite and enemy designs that we have to start pinching them from previous games? I mean, everybody knows the Ratchet and Clank 2 creatures that had this one. In fact, they were even in the Crack in Time. No, not Crack in Time, sorry, Tools of Destruction. I think they were in Crack in Time as well, but it was only like 1 level. This takes place of your standard vendor system. See, it lists all the weapons out here. There's not too many weapons in this game, but I think there's enough. I mean, everyone has their own each character has their own personal weapon. Cork has the quantum deflector, which is a shield generator. Clank has a Zony freeze gun. Dr. Nefarious has a invisibility cloak, which allows him to sneak around enemies, which I personally don't like. And Ratchet has the doppelganger, which is very handy for boss fights, and mobs, but not really handy anywhere else. Okay. Combustor. Alright, weapons firing training, because no one knows how to press R1. Oh well, I can't blame it. It's also the fact that the left analog stick is for the left analog stick is to select a weapon. I don't like. Was it always like that? I always remember in Ratchet and Clank games it was you hold triangle and it brings up your weapon bar. Holding or pressing or moving the direction of the right analog stick, which primarily would be used for the camera, seems very out of place, I must admit. Also, if you notice, this is actually more of a review than considering if you look at my previous Ratchet and Clank videos. But I'm trying to actually look at gameplay rather than just harp on about the story and the features for 10 years. The shooting seems slow and unresponsive, I'll be honest. L1 target lock. Well, Ratchet and Clank games, the staple of a Ratchet and Clank game is it should have auto-targeting. And L1 is for free. Oh, this is the other thing. I just completely owned him. See, now for a lot of the puzzles it requires the co-op thing, because both of you have to shoot a puzzle, like shoot one of these energy generators or use a puzzle or something at the same time, which this is, I have to admit, they have to add in co-op puzzles somewhere to justify the co-op nature of it. But they all seem very rushed and half-hearted, in my honest opinion. This game is not what I would call a Ratchet and Clank game. I would call it a spin-off game that somebody made for a bit of fun. And I mean, fine, it's pretty cool. A co-op Ratchet and Clank game, I'm all down for. Like I said, at the end of the day, when me and my friends played this a while ago when I was still in high school and had friends, we all really enjoyed it. So, if the question is it fun? Then the answer is yes. Bring some friends and you'll have fun. However, from a gameplay perspective in regards to Ratchet and Clank, I wouldn't call this a true Ratchet and Clank game. It just seems very out of place. I don't know. I mean, they fit in the storyline fine. There are a few really decent funny lines by Nefarious and Ratchet, which is always good, but it just doesn't seem... getting my ass handed to me. It doesn't seem more like what I would call a Ratchet and Clank game. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments, because I do actually read the bloody comments for anyone who is wondering. I do actually, take things on board. But, I don't know, this doesn't seem like a Ratchet and Clank game. The camera angle, I must admit they've changed the camera now, which is third person behind the player. However, it's so zoomed in when compared to other Ratchet and Clank games that I don't feel like I have the same level of control, if you're trying to get what I'm saying. I just don't see it. I don't know. Maybe it's just my delusions or whatever. Oh, okay, so it's the double bolt crate. Awesome. Sorry, my computer was saying, you have software and things to install. And I'm going, thank you, computer. Don't need to know that. Oh, Quark has the bolt grabber. Okay. I mean, with the lock-on targeting, like I'm holding L1 and I've got R1 pressed down, that firing stance seems like an old Ratchet and Clank system. But it's not. That should come standard. Auto-targeting should be standard in a Ratchet and Clank game. It shouldn't have to be shoot on in, because I'm just pressing R1 at the moment, and I'm just firing all over the place. but now I hold L1 and fire, I'm actually locking onto the enemy. Damn it. So yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't seem quite right. Oh well, we will ignore the gameplay front for a little while, and the mechanics and stuff, and focus on a few other little bits and pieces about this game. First off, let's go to... Oh, I want to briefly talk about the trophies, actually. I know it's an odd thing to talk about for a Ratchet and Clank game, but Ratchet and Clank trophies are normally pretty standard, pretty, you know, some of them are pretty difficult, but this one, I must admit, alongside the original trilogy, which has some of the most piss-irritating trophies in the world, because they're like trophies, get all the skill points for the original Ratchet and Clank, or get all of the gold bolts or something like that. They don't understand how piss-irritating the original Ratchet and Clank PS2 tank controls and movement system were like, so trying to get precision out of that engine and demand it, you know, for players now, I think is a bit cheeky. And this game too has some really piss-irritating trophies. You know, negotiate a laser labyrinth, which we will not see in this video, but it's quite late game, so negotiate a laser labyrinth in under 40 seconds. It's just, they're quite irritating trophies, I must admit. I do have 85% of them in this game. However, that was trial and error and grinding them co-op. So, if you want a game, you want a good trophy scoring game, like just quick, easy trophies, then I'd recommend playing Ratchet and Clank A Crack in Time, whose trophies, I must admit, were piss easy. Even by most standards, I easily platinumed that one. Come on, die. Alright, must admit, the overload feature, well, just, god damn it, harping back to the co-op nature of this again, it just feels so shoehorned. I don't know. I mean, a co-op Ratchet and Clank, or a, you know, a teamwork, partially based co-op Ratchet and Clank does work. For example, Q-Force or Full Frontal Assault. That's a co-op nature, free-player co-op, with 2v2 multiplayer modes, and it works because each player is individual, separate to themselves. So while it's a co-op game and it's necessitating co-op, you know, teamwork and all that sort of stuff Sesame Street always bangs on about, you're allowed to kick ass by yourself because you have it's a standard Ratchet and Clank control scheme, a standard Ratchet and Clank camera angle. So while both of you together can easily get a lot of stuff done, you can also get a lot of stuff done by yourself. You don't have another AI partner like Clank here nailed to you, which, you know, and irritates you and takes away from your personal enjoyment of it, because you're dragging around a bunch of ones and zeros that is only marginally helpful in certain circumstances. So a Ratchet and Clank co-op game can work. Full Frontal Assault, though no one bought it or played it, and you totally should because it's a worthwhile game, can work. This one doesn't, I must admit, and it's kind of sad because you could tell that, oh, I don't know, you could tell that the idea was good. The delivery and the mechanics seem very half-hearted and phoned in, which is odd for Insomniac because they normally do very well in terms of gameplay and keeping things good like that, but oh well. So yes, must admit. Right. Okay. Also, the story itself, I must admit, I actually really think that this was just someone said make a co-op Ratchet and Clank game, and then they half-heartedly put one together. Because just looking at it, the story as well barely fits into any of the Ratchet and Clank continuity. It's set after A Crack in Time, and when I first played it, it was like, you know, it's the hunt for Dr. Nefarious, you know, after he escaped, and I was like, oh hell yeah. And then we started playing this mission, it's like the giant monster and robots. I'm like, oh awesome, okay, that's a bit of fun, looking forward to this. And then once you get into it, it's about the plot. Ooh, although the plot of the plot of Full Frontal Assault was actually pretty woeful as well. But the plot is there's a dude who's collecting all of the most dangerous evil life forms in the universe for his personal exhibit on his collecting gathering spaceship. And that's not a evil story arc, it's just some nutter who wants to collect all the rare items in the world. It's like a bad poacher you get off an episode of Captain Planet. So the story is actually pretty woeful, and the story of Full Frontal Assault's pretty woeful as well, actually. But oh well, maybe it's just a thing with these Ratchet and Clank games at the moment. Maybe the spark's gone out of them, and they should do the final game where you meet up with Max Apogee and Angela Cross again and bow out with honor and dignity. Oh well, that's just me waffling again. But yeah, Ratchet and Clank games lately have lost their charm. I've never actually played Into the Nexus. I know I said that I was in a previous video that I was going to do a video on Into the Nexus, and I am, but I just need to play it first. So maybe we'll see a full play of, or a long play, or whatever it is of Into the Nexus when I get it. But yeah, this game, it doesn't seem like a Ratchet and Clank game. I don't know, it just seems very out of place. Almost as out of place, actually, as Ratchet and Clank Gladiator, which I really didn't like. I thought that was absolutely woeful as well, but oh well. Alright, and this isn't a Ratchet and Clank boss fight. Seriously, it is not. I'm sorry. What you do? Now, normally in a Ratchet and Clank boss fight like this, I mean, it's got all the trademarks of Ratchet and Clank boss fight. Dodging evil floor puzzles, shooting the monster repeatedly in the face, but all you do is you both cooperatively hammer it in the head. I know it's the opening mission, and they're trying to, not alienate new players, but I don't think they really understand that the most of the people that play Ratchet and Clank games are not new to the series. So, having off a piss-easy final boss fight where you barely, there's no real opportunity to lose, seems quite dumb. But oh well. And seriously, you have to overcharge your shots to get anything done here. And the fact that the monster heals itself would be a nice idea, but look, the second you blow up the thing, it goes all the way back to less health again, and you've succeeded in nothing. So, there was no point of it at all. Okay. Smack. I think we'll finish this open starting tutorial level, give a bit of a summary, and then we'll go from there. Also, that animation's annoying. Flaying around like a twat. Yeah, just jump on my back, Clank, because you're a blomble. And see, there's always one of these in every Ratchet and Clank game. Chase, something's laser chasing you or something's chasing you, you have to dodge it. But, I don't know, throwing it in this early just seems really hollow. I don't know, it just seems sort of like, this would be a late game or a mid game sort of set piece, but in this one, they're throwing it right in the start, which makes little to no sense to me. Also, bugger that bloody... bugger that. Seriously, I'm trying to swap the camera around and all I'm doing is just changing weapon or pausing the game every 2 seconds. Please die. I think we'll get the grenade launcher actually about now, which in most other Ratchet and Clank games they just dart off giving it to you. But in this one you have to go halfway through the first level before they give it to you. Even in Ratchet and Clank 1 they gave you the grenade launcher first off. Oh, these are probably the most funnest part of the game, I must admit. They're very colourful and characterful and nice and interesting. And everyone has their own separate one, and it's decent. See, there is still life in this game. I know I've been harping on about it not being a true Ratchet and Clank game, which I personally do believe. But there is the life of a Ratchet and Clank game in here. There's the promise of a Ratchet and Clank game in here. It's just you have to try and find it in the small parts, as opposed to the large bits. So, and I don't know. I don't care about losing health. Right. I do appreciate the fact of the Ratchet and Clank Future series, this is just a general one, that they got round to making fire either circle or R1. Oh no, in this game it's exclusively R1 actually. Wait. No, no. Get the gun out. It isn't. Yeah, it's exclusively R1. Which I do appreciate because a lot of modern shooters and military games and all that stuff make R1 the primary firing button. So I appreciate the fact that they've made that in a thing. But exclusively making it R1 in this game, whereas all... Oh, for God's sake. I keep trying to change camera and I keep hitting L2 to change over like in the old Ratchet and Clank games and it doesn't work. Oh, God's sake. So I do, as I was back to the current rant before we move on to the next one, the fact that they made R1 the firing button is good, but in a crack in time and in Tools of Destruction, R1 was a firing button, but so was circle as well. So which encouraged different sort of play styles. Like, do you want to have your finger on circle so you can quickly switch to triangle to get extra weapons and stuff like that, or do you prefer are you used to more modern military shooters and you like having R1 as your primary attack? It kind of had a different playstyle and wasn't accessible to new players as well as to players who like the classic PS2 style controls. But in this one, it's just whatever. It's just, you will have our modern military controls or you will piss off. And that seems very rude, my honest opinion. Also, there are way too many set pieces like this elevator in this game. But these are, I'm getting into nitpick territory here. I suppose the main thing would be the camera is shite. The combat controls are not what I'd consider endemic or of a Ratchet and Clank game. The plot is barely there and slightly annoying. And in general, it's only, God's sake, it's only what, like, partially connected to what I would call a true Ratchet and Clank game. It doesn't have any, it has some of the life and the spark of a Ratchet and Clank game, but it doesn't have any of the soul, if you get what I'm saying. So those are the three main complaints. If you want to sum up and add any more into the comments below, let me know. I mean, what do you honestly think of this game? Do you think, yes, it's not a true Ratchet and Clank game, or yes, I loved it, you're just a moron, or insulting it, or no, you didn't insult it enough, it's like piddle on a biscuit, there's no way you would ever, consider the fact that you enjoyed it at all? Let me know, because as I said earlier, I do read the comments, and I like what people think of the Ratchet and Clank series, because there are some decent fans out there who enjoy this series, and I always find I get on well with them in forums and, online servers and stuff. Especially in not Tools of Destruction. God, I keep getting my games wrong. And I keep hitting L2. Ugh. Okay, there we go. Getting better. And in Full Frontal Assault, or Q-Force, whatever one you call it, I do actually enjoy that. Talking to other Ratchet and Clank gamers. So let me know what you think. Oh, you stupid, why are you helping AI partner? See, you just stuffed it up because I have to run over there and then you turned out to help. Moron. Right, idiot, and don't latch on to me. Right, grab a warmonger turret. Okay, oh my god. Ugh. Yes, fire. Obligatory turret section, which is in every Ratchet and Clank game, and which is fine. It's a turret section. What can you really say about it? It's a turret section. Right, back to... right. I keep thinking I'm the blue control for some reason, which is... just shows how easily confusing this gets. Right, shoot. There. Now shoot this one, Clank, you moron. Must admit, any multiplayer focused or co-op focused game who adds you know, you play solo, as I've stated in many videos like Borderlands and stuff like that, does seem hollow and token. But at least those ones you're just playing by yourself. With ones that give you AI to help you out, I really find irritating. Don't ask me why, but I just don't have any real love for them, because the AI they give you is normally thick and dumb and 100% pointless. Okay, set piece, we've defeated a monster. Oh, now we're brutally murdering a monster by throwing it off a cliff. Great, we're very wonderful people, aren't we? God, when did Ratchet and Clank characters turn into such an asshole? Right. Well, let's jump off the cliff. Oh, damn it! I lived. Okay, oh yes. And as part of the co-op thing, at the end of every single thing, it grades you. And it marks out one player on the top of the bottom, thereby making turning cooperative into competitive. And that's just irritating on so many levels. Oh well, this concludes my rant of Ratchet and Clank Q-Force. But at the end of the day, for all the hatred and the shitty camera controls and the awful, you know, weapon systems and stuff like that, and the really flimsy toilet tissue plot, I had fun with this game. When me and a couple of friends were playing this game, we had fun. So at the end of the day, if you like this game, and you had fun with it, and you have friends that have fun with it, then what do you care what I think? So with that being said, thank you very much for watching, guys. I think I'm actually run out of Ratchet and Clank games until Planet Magnus the Red, Crimson King. Until I pick up a copy of Into the Nexus, I've run out of Ratchet and Clank games. So until then, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you all again another time.